Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for watching, liking, subscribing, doing all that you do. Today's video, what we're going to do is I'm going to replace the chain. I'm going to show you how to replace a chain on a motorcycle. Now, my Enfield chain that I have, of course, is still good. It's a solid chain. I've got no problems with it. I've only got 14,000 kilometers on it. So what I'm going to do is on Katz's bike, which is a Ninja 650, her chain is toast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the chain and sprockets on her bike, which is applicable to the Royal Enfield. Exactly the same procedure, exactly the same way to tell if your chain is not good. So anyways, let's get into it. Right now, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can tell when your chain is done, when it's time for replacement. And this chain down here definitely is time for replacement. So firstly, if you notice when you move your bike around, you hear any grinding or clunking. And as you can see on this one, what's happened is the links have gotten very, very stiff. The chain itself, it doesn't sit properly on the sprockets anymore because it's too stretched, and the sprockets are getting a little hooked. This bike has around 30,000 kilometers on it, so it's still the original chain, which is not a very good chain. I don't believe it's not a high-end chain anyways. But as you rotate the wheel, you can see here it's clinking, clunking, and then you have tight, super loose, right? And it'll go back and forth. Because what happens is, as your O-rings go and your bushings start to get more, the links, because there are fairly high tolerances with these links, is they start to bind on each other when the O-rings go, and that prevents the chain from running smoothly. So as you see, we're super loose there, and we've got a lot of side-to-side movement. As well, like I say, you can pull it away from the rear sprocket. So that's a big sign that your chain is due for replacement. Okay. So what we've done is, and again here you can see we've got now it's tight because the links are binding back and forth on a different angle, and they're not straightening out, they're not running smooth. So it's definitely time. What happened with us is, I noticed that our chain went out of adjustment, so we cleaned it, lubed it, adjusted it, and then within 100 kilometers, it was right back to it again, where it was doing this thing where tight, loose. So it's time to go. So what we've done is ordered up a replacement chain. This one is the DID X-Ring chain and sprocket kit. Comes with, and this is one of the things that I love about chain kits, is they come all, you've got your front sprocket, stock on this is a 15 tooth, which is what we're going with, a couple stickers, JT sprockets, very similar to the sprocket that's on there. It's the same tooth count, and then the chain. It's an endless link chain, and this is again one of these things that I love about these chains. I'm a bit of a nerd that way, or a dork, but they're wrapped. It's like somebody has actually hand wrapped this chain. And there it is, along with the links. Okay, what we're going to do now though is I'm going to show you how to. This will probably be a two-part video, in that, not a two-part, but 2 days, because I'm probably not going to be able to install it until tomorrow, but we're going to get the old chain off, and I'll show you how to do that. So first things first is you have to remove the sprocket cover. So don't take your chain off or take your wheel off or anything. All of that will have to happen as we go along. And as I said, this is the exact same procedure for the Enfield or any other bike, actually. Any other modern bike. There may be a few differences in terms of the sprocket cover and things, but basically they're all going to be exactly the same. So take the sprocket cover off. Just the two, yeah, there's 2 bolts on this one. Now the first thing we're going to do before we do anything, of course, is see how this washer is bent up on the nut. We're going to bend that back, and then we're going to remove this nut, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Okay, I'm just going to use a chisel and hopefully be able to just bend this guy back. Now I've got to get the right size nut. I'm not sure if it's... Oh, it is too. Okay, so on this one, it's a 27 mil nut up front. Now, I'm going to get my beautiful assistant to stand on the brake on the other side of the bike, please. Okay, now Katz has got the brake applied. Like I say, make sure you do this before. So my cordless impact wouldn't take it off, so now we have the plug-in electric one, so let's try that. There we go. No problem. Now I'm just going to put the nut on loosely so that it stays in place. So now what we're going to do is take the chain off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the angle grinder with just a zip blade and grind down and take off a couple of these pins so they're flush with the link. You should wear eye protection with this, and you know I've got eyeglasses on, but you know, use appropriate safety precautions as you see fit. I have no responsibility. Okay, all right. Let's make some noise. Okay, so what I've done is I've ground off the heads of the pins so that there's nothing holding the side plate on, and I'm just going to use just a screwdriver bit in here because this chain is right at this point is just sacrificial, and bash it in like that, and there. So that pops your one side off. There's one of the O-rings, the other one's over here. Now if we just wind her down a bit, I should be able to just push that right out. Yeah. There you have the old chain. Easy peasy. So you can see there's a bit of movement in the side to side on the chain. I'll compare the new chain with the old chain before I install the new chain. But next thing we're going to do is, and for this I'm going to wheel the bike inside before I do it because I'm not going to be able to complete it tonight. But take the bike back inside, put it up on a stand, and remove the rear wheel so that I can change the sprockets. So we are going to do that off camera and, well, take the wheel off, not install the sprockets, but I'm going to take the rear wheel off. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll do it inside though, and I'll show you guys. Okay, so we're back inside, just because the bike's going to be here overnight, because I'm not going to finish this job today. But anyways, back inside on the stand, loosen off your chain adjusters. Same thing on the Enfield, or any other bike for that matter. And this, I think I've still got this loosened from trying to adjust it before. Yeah. So. Okay. Axle and adjusters. Take my mallet. Tap, tap. And there we go. So, it's all good. These are the adjusters on the Kawasaki 650 Ninja, or Z650 to the rest of the world. Now what we're going to do is lay the tire down. However, make sure you put it down on some 2x4s or something so you don't damage your rotor before taking off the sprocket. Alright, so I'm just going to remove the sprockets, or all the nuts for the sprocket. They're quite tight. These ones are 14 mil, so I just got a bit of an extension on the ratchet here. There we go. The shiny new 46 tooth GT sprockets. As you can see, the old one has deeper grooves. It's getting a little bit hooked there, but it's actually in pretty okay shape. But we're going to replace it anyways. So, yeah. And we're going to install this, finish installing all this tomorrow. See you then. Okay, we're back second day here. So what I've done is put the rear sprocket on and then mounted the tire, torque the sprocket down to proper torques. Whatever torques are for your motorcycle, just look them up online. This one was, I think, 43 foot-pounds for the rear axle nuts. So now we've got it back outside again. I'm just going to spin off the front sprocket, the washer, the sprocket, and install the new front sprocket. Like I say, it's the same tooth as the other one. And again, the goes in like so. The nut. As you can tell, it's in neutral, so you can't torque this down right now, but once we get the chain on, we'll torque it and then bend the washer back down again so that it prevents the nut from loosening. Okay, now what we're going to do is check out our chain, the links. Okay, now just one thing that I was going to mention is that I did buy one of these cheap Amazon chain breakers, and you may be asking yourself, why don't you use the chain breaker to break your chain? Well, these aren't made that well. They're only around 20 bucks. I'll put a link in the description. They're not made that well. What I really wanted was for riveting the new chain on, so that's what I'm primarily going to use this for. And it's just as easy to use a Dremel tool or an angle grinder to cut the knobs off of the other chain and remove it. I've even heard of people just using a bolt cutter and cutting their old chain off, because really you're not trying to save it. It's junk basically. So no use trying to break a tool just to break your chain. So anyways, what we're going to do now is take our new chain, which is all nice and shiny, and just feed it through. It's nice and greasy, pre-greased. Another thing that I'm going to point out, I know people wonder what to use. Oh, sorry, there we go. What to use on your chain for lube. Now, according to the manufacturer, which is DID, I guess it is, on the chain box, it says to use 80W90 gear oil as your lubricant for the chain. So that's something to keep in mind when you're shopping around for chain oil or things like that, because there's a lot of snake oil out there in terms of what people feel is the only thing they should use on their motorcycle. Now we'll just, oops. Cheers. That should give us enough. There we go. So our chain is right up there. Right, so our link, little tube of grease, O-rings, and the front link. Okay. Do not eat. Chain grease, do not eat. Keep away from a child. Okay. There's grease here and there. Got our two X O-rings. Make sure we don't get any dirt or sand on them, because that would cause premature wear. Put them down. Make sure we get lots of grease inside there and around. A little shot of grease on this guy just because. There we go. Now we'll fit this. Okay, so what I found is easier right now, because I can't seem to put the axle any further forward, is take the chain down to here, give it a little bit of a twist, and there you go, gone in there. So now I'm going to just run the wheel back up here onto the sprocket. So we can see. That's some more grease. Not really going to worry about using too much grease. There, okay. Get the O-ring O-rings on. A little bit of that grease on the O-ring, or as much as you can on the O-ring as well, just to give it a good coating so it's well lubricated. And now the plate with the 520 on it. Okay, so that's there. Now the real main reason, like I say, why I bought this Amazon tool is so that I can use it to rivet the chain on. So I'm just going to get it set up and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got the tool set up. There's the two press plates here, which the one with the holes goes facing out. The one with the slots goes to the back. The purpose of the slots at the back is it'll fit on the back of your chain like so. So keep your tool sort of centered. And on the front, of course, you're going to want to push these pins through this hole before you rivet it. So it goes like that. And then this one will go on here. And it uses a 14mm wrench to tighten. So let's get this. So that's the back one. Slowly snug up the front one. Just, of course, you gotta sort of like that. And look to try and get the holes, make sure the holes are centered. Which I think those are, so I'll just give a little, whoops. Okay, so here goes nothing. Well, that's something, but okay, now I'm just gonna, abundance of caution, I'm gonna just back this off and take a look to make sure that things are going. And yes, as you can see there, the the pin on this one is starting to come through. This one hasn't started to come through yet, but so we're on the right track. Again, back up. Let's get an eyeball on that one. You want to keep an eye on the O-rings as you tighten it up as well, so that you don't squish the O-rings too much. You want them slightly compressed, but this lower one is not. Oh, now we're missing the holes. So back off and reposition. And that guy's coming okay. that one's coming too. So it's a slow process, but it's the first time I've used one of these tools. In the past I've used a C-clamp, which was a real interesting way of doing things. Okay, that guy's lined up. So, and again, I'll back it off and have a look. It's coming. That one's not out yet. I'd say the pin hasn't come out. Okay, so I've been working it, and as you can see, the rivet, or sorry, the pin is starting to protrude. So I'll just keep on working it, and that's coming now. Oh, that was just the nut. All right, let's check this out. I think this should be the last. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, the pins are extending. If you eyeball the difference, this is the factory O-ring there. So now I want a very similar. So I think, no, maybe just a titch more. What's a titch, you say? Well, it's just that little bit more. The tool sits on there a lot easier now. I don't want to go too far, because if you go too far, okay. There. Now, looking, I think that's just about right. Okay, now we're going to set this up to do the riveting, which is, as I say, the whole purpose why I bought this. So, for the riveting, we have, where's my pen? This one is the rivet pin. And the spring goes in, the pin goes in, okay, I'm just going to grab a wrench for the end of this guy. Okay, now in the this kit, there is also these anvils. So now this one goes in, and I picked the largest one. As you can see, it's just what we want it to do is we want it to go right on the back of the pin, so the back side, before we flare the. So I put the rivet pin in and have it come out basically right there. Once I've tightened it in, so anyways, we'll get to you in just, hang on a second, we're going to back this guy out. Alright, so we got the anvil on, we've got the rivet tool set in there. So now start with the top one. And what I want to do is get it up there so that tool houses it. Now I'll just use the sleever here, and hopefully the rivet tool will do its job. So we're just going to wind it in. It's getting some resistance now, so again what I'm going to do is tighten it up, then back it off, and then have a look, just to make sure that it's working. Okay, so you can see the hole here is a little bit bigger, and it is starting to flatten the rivet out. Okay, for the second one, just back her off, and there we go. Okay, as you can tell, it's deformed it, mushroomed it a bit. Have a quick look. There's no, the links aren't, they're still flexible, so everything's good. You don't want it too tight. You don't want it too loose, of course, but you don't want it too tight. So there we go. That's how to do your chain and sprocket. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to torque the front sprocket on. Torque specs for this, I've got them written down, but I'm just going to go get my wrench. Check your manual, check online, whatever your front sprocket should be torqued at. Make sure you do it at that, because every bike is different. Okay, got the sprocket torqued down, the washer bent back over, cover back on, chain adjusted to the specs of Kawasaki, 0.8 of an inch to 1.2, so that's good. And that's it, just the adjuster nuts. I'm going to double cinch them up, but basically that's it for doing chain and sprockets on a Kawasaki Ninja 650, EX 650, or our Royal Enfield 650. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you could, give us a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Any comments below, leave them. I'm sure there might be some comments about my chain removal, which I'm more than welcome, guys, but that's how I did it, and it works. Yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Keep the rubber side down. Thanks again.